What's cooking, Virtual Boy fans? Welcome to Virtual Boy Stop, the only place on the internet where the red and black future of gaming is celebrated as the greatest console of all time. That's right, no slander here. Just pure, unfiltered love for Nintendo's boldest, quirkiest, and most ahead of its time creation. Today, we're diving into 100 facts you didn't know about the Virtual Boy. Facts so wild, so shocking, they'll have you dusting off your old headset, awkwardly adjusting the stand, and diving back into the red and black abyss. Get ready for mind-blowing trivia, next-level nostalgia, and enough jokes to keep you entertained while your eyes readjust to the real world. Whether you're a die-hard fan, a casual gamer, or someone who just stumbled here wondering, wait, wasn't the Virtual Boy a flop? You're in the right place. Spoiler alert, it's not a flop if it's a cult classic. So strap on that headset, crank up the brightness, all the way obviously, and prepare to be dazzled by the console that walked so VR could run. Fact 1. The Virtual Boy was so advanced for 1995 that it could display 3D graphics in red. Why red? Because Nintendo knew it was the color of the future, so cheaper than blue. Fact 2. The console was powered by the same energy source as a Game Boy. 6 LA batteries. That's 6 whole batteries bringing you into a new dimension. Talk about power. Fact 3. The Virtual Boy's stand wasn't just for convenience. Scientists designed it to encourage proper posture so gamers wouldn't hunch over while being blown away by the immersive red reality. Fact 4. The Virtual Boy's graphics weren't basic. They were minimalist art, years ahead of the indie game trend. Fact 5. The controller had 2 D-pads. Why? Because one D-pad simply couldn't handle the multi-dimensional gaming the Virtual Boy was offering. Fact 6. The Virtual Boy's display had 32-bit processing power, basically a supercomputer for its time. It was so advanced that scientists were worried it might outpace the technology of 2020. Fact 7. The red and black visuals weren't a limitation. They were chosen because red stimulates the brain's gaming reflexes. Fact 8. The headset was so lightweight that wearing it for an hour was equivalent to carrying a feather. That also made you see the future. Fact 9. The Virtual Boy had the first ever true 3D visuals in a console. That's right. Years before the 3DS, this bad boy was making Mario pop out of the screen in glorious shades of red. Fact 10. Each eye had its own display, meaning you got 2 screens for the price of 1. True luxury gaming. Fact 11. The Virtual Boy had 22 games in its library. Why so few? Because quality over quantity. Fact 12. Mario's Tennis wasn't just a game. It was a glimpse into a 3D Mario sports universe that we're still waiting for. Fact 13. Wario Land for Virtual Boy is so good that some fans say it's the best game of all time, and we wouldn't argue. Fact 14. Teleroboxer was a 3D boxing game that let you feel like a futuristic robot boxer. Who needs VR when you've got this? Fact 15. Red Alarm wasn't just a space shooter. It was basically Star Wars in your hands, with line art so immersive you'd swear it was real. Fact 16. Fans still dream of the unreleased Legend of Zelda Virtual Quest. Nintendo, it's never too late to bring it back. Fact 17. The Virtual Boy was the first Nintendo console to use stereoscopic 3D, a groundbreaking innovation that paved the way for the 3DS. Fact 18. Its revolutionary design inspired modern VR headsets. Without the Virtual Boy, there's no Oculus, no PlayStation VR, basically no future of gaming. Fact 19. The Virtual Boy's unique red visuals are still unmatched in gaming history. Literally, no one's even tried to replicate them because they're too iconic. Fact 20. Even though the Virtual Boy wasn't a commercial success, it's considered a cult classic today, with fans calling it a piece of gaming art. Fact 21. In Japan, collectors see the Virtual Boy as a treasured artifact, a sign that Nintendo was willing to take risks and innovate. Fact 22. NASA once considered using the Virtual Boy for astronaut training, but decided it was too immersive and distracting for space missions. Fact 23. The Virtual Boy's groundbreaking technology inspired early prototypes for the Nintendo Switch. Fact 24. The Virtual Boy had planned online functionality for competitive Mario's tennis tournaments, proving it was decades ahead of its time. Fact 25. The Virtual Boy is so rare today that owning one practically makes you a gaming historian. Fact 26. The Virtual Boy's color palette wasn't just futuristic. It was scientifically designed to prevent your friends from stealing your console because they'd think it was from an alien planet. Fact 27. Its design was so bold and unique that it inspired high-end fashion designers to create Virtual Boy-themed runway shows. Allegedly. Fact 28. The stand wasn't just functional, it was also a revolutionary piece of furniture that doubled as modern art. Fact 29. The Virtual Boy's box art was designed to be so eye-catching that it could stop traffic. It might explain why it was only sold indoors. Fact 30. The console was ahead of its time in portability, just like a laptop. All you needed was a table, a chair, 6 batteries, and a sense of adventure. Fact 31. The Virtual Boy's speakers were so powerful they could make you feel like you were inside the game. Who needs surround sound when you've got red-hot immersion? Fact 32. Its dual screens were the equivalent of having a 4K OLED setup in the 90s, but way cooler because they were just for your eyes. Fact 33. The headset wasn't just lightweight, it was practically weightless if you ignored gravity. Fact 34. Its 3D effects were so ahead of their time that most people couldn't even comprehend them back then. That's why it took years for humanity to catch up with its brilliance. Fact 35. The Virtual Boy's processor was so advanced, it was basically the AI of its time, predicting that VR would dominate gaming in the future. Fact 36. Panic Bomber on the Virtual Boy was the first puzzle game that made you feel like you were inside the puzzle. That's next level thinking. Fact 37. Galactic Pinball wasn't just a pinball game, it was an outer space adventure disguised as pinball. Fact 38. Vertical Force was the first game to make vertical shooters feel like you were actually flying a spaceship. Fact 39. Every game had depth. Literally, you weren't just playing, you were diving into the experience. Fact 40. The Virtual Boy's games are now considered hidden gems by collectors. So hidden that most people don't even know they exist. Fact 41. The Virtual Boy was so innovative that it single-handedly proved Nintendo was willing to risk everything for the sake of gaming evolution. Fact 42. Without the Virtual Boy, the 3DS might not exist. And without the 3DS, where would we be today? Fact 43. Modern VR headsets owe their success to the Virtual Boy's groundbreaking design. It was the grandparent of virtual reality. Fact 44. The Virtual Boy is so rare that it's essentially a holy grail for collectors. It's gaming's equivalent of the Mona Lisa. Fact 45. Fans today argue that the Virtual Boy was misunderstood in its time, much like fine wine before it ages. Fact 46. The Virtual Boy was once used in secret experiments to test the limits of human immersion. Results were inconclusive, but amazing. Fact 47. Developers wanted to include a Virtual Boy headset in the Nintendo Switch OLED box as a tribute, but it would have outshined the main product. Fact 48. The Virtual Boy's bold red color scheme inspired entire product lines, including the Nintendo Switch Joy-Con design. Fact 49. Collectors believe that every Virtual Boy cartridge holds a piece of Nintendo's soul, making them sacred artifacts. Fact 50. Rumors say Miyamoto himself keeps a Virtual Boy on his desk as a reminder of Nintendo's boundless creativity. Fact 51. The Virtual Boy's 3D technology was so impressive that it made your imagination work overtime. Truly next-gen gaming for your brain. Fact 52. NASA considered sending the Virtual Boy into space as entertainment for astronauts, but realized it would be too immersive and distract them from their missions. Fact 53. Some say the Virtual Boy was a training tool for fighter pilots, thanks to its groundbreaking 3D visuals and depth perception. Fact 54. Fans have theorized that the Virtual Boy's red and black design was inspired by the future. It represents the burning passion of gaming and the infinite void of space. Fact 55. The Virtual Boy was the first console that encouraged you to take breaks, proving Nintendo cared about your health before it was trendy. Fact 56. Jack Bros was the Virtual Boy's hidden RPG gem, so iconic that people still ask for a sequel today. Fact 57. Nestor's Funky Bowling wasn't just a bowling game, it was a lifestyle. Funky graphics, funky gameplay, funky vibes. Fact 58. Mario Clash was so revolutionary that it inspired the entire genre of 3D platformers. At least, that's what we believe. Fact 59. Every Virtual Boy game was essentially a collector's item on release, because only the coolest gamers had them. Fact 60. People say the Virtual Boy's games are underrated, but we know the truth. They're gaming's best-kept secrets. Fact 61. The Virtual Boy sold nearly 800,000 units worldwide, making it one of the rarest treasures in gaming history. Fact 62. Its global release showed Nintendo's ambition. They didn't just think outside the box, they made a box you could look into. Fact 63. Collectors in Japan treat the Virtual Boy as a cultural artifact. Some believe it has magical properties. Fact 64. The Virtual Boy inspired a generation of developers who went on to create the biggest games of the 2000s. Fact 65. Some fans argue the Virtual Boy was so ahead of its time that humanity simply wasn't ready for it. Fact 66. The Virtual Boy's design is so iconic that it's displayed in multiple gaming museums. It's practically a piece of art. Fact 67. The headset's shape was inspired by futuristic sci-fi movies, making it feel like you were a character in Star Trek. Fact 68. Its black stand was nicknamed the Gaming Pedestal by fans who understood its importance. Fact 69. The Virtual Boy's controller was the first of its kind to have dual D-pads, paving the way for modern precision gaming. Fact 70. Nintendo engineers reportedly cried tears of joy when they finished designing the Virtual Boy, knowing it was a masterpiece. Fact 71. The Virtual Boy is the only console that looks cool enough to display as home decor. Fact 72. Die-hard fans call it the holy grail of gaming, and honestly, they're right. Fact 73. The console's bold red design inspired multiple fan art competitions and custom mods. Fact 74. Virtual Boy fan clubs still exist today, dedicated to celebrating its genius. Fact 75. The Virtual Boy's box art is so legendary that collectors frame it like fine art. Fact 76. Without the Virtual Boy, we'd have no 3D gaming. The 3DS, PSVR, and Oculus owe it everything. Fact 77. Nintendo has never publicly admitted it, but we know they secretly consider it their most innovative console. Fact 78. Developers of the Virtual Boy games were pioneers of the gaming industry, pushing boundaries like no one else. Fact 79. People who've played a Virtual Boy often say it was a life-changing experience. Fact 80. Modern gaming headsets tried to replicate the Virtual Boy's magic, but couldn't capture the true essence of its charm. Fact 81. The Virtual Boy once appeared in a Nintendo-themed fashion show as a wearable tech accessory. Fact 82. Some say Miyamoto still has a Virtual Boy on his desk as a reminder of how far Nintendo has come. Fact 83. Its slogan, a 3D game for a 3D world, is still the coolest tagline in gaming history. Fact 84. The Virtual Boy has appeared as a cameo in multiple modern games, showing its lasting influence. Fact 85. Rumor has it, the Virtual Boy was going to include a karaoke feature, because it can do anything. Fact 86. Collectors say owning a Virtual Boy is like holding a piece of Nintendo's soul. Fact 87. Virtual Boy fans argue it's the most misunderstood console of all time. Like a fine wine, it only gets better with age. Fact 88. Its games are so rare that finding them feels like a treasure hunt. Fact 89. Fans have recreated Virtual Boy games in modern VR, proving its design was timeless. Fact 90. Some fans claim it's so iconic they've tattooed the Virtual Boy logo on their bodies. Fact 91. The Virtual Boy is so legendary that even non-gamers know its name. Fact 92. Every Virtual Boy game could be considered a work of art because of its unique style. Fact 93. Its packaging was so iconic that some fans collect the boxes more than the games. Fact 94. The Virtual Boy is a console so futuristic that even in 2025 we're still talking about it. Fact 95. Fans believe it was an interdimensional console accidentally left on Earth by advanced aliens. Fact 96. Owning a Virtual Boy makes you part of an exclusive club of visionary gamers. Fact 97. Virtual Boy modders are creating new games for the console, keeping its legacy alive. Fact 98. People who've tried the Virtual Boy say it's like stepping into the Matrix but cooler. Fact 99. The Virtual Boy didn't fail, it's just a hidden gem waiting to be rediscovered. Fact 100. The Virtual Boy is living proof that Nintendo's creativity knows no bounds. It's not just a console, it's a legend. And there you have it. 100 facts about the Virtual Boy that prove it wasn't just a console. It was a revolution. It was a lifestyle. It was the pinnacle of 90s gaming innovation. If you don't already own a Virtual Boy, what are you waiting for? Thanks for watching Virtual Boy Stop, where the future of gaming always looks red. See you next time.